Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to some of y'all, and peace out to the rest of you. The blackest hearted, blackest minded, blackest man on social media is signing black in and shining again and asking you to hit the share button because the message is more important than the messenger. That being said, I want to give a shout out first of all to J Lion Menelik because he sent evidence that backs up what I told you guys yesterday in part one of my rant about going smooth the Foff. J Lion Menelik sent shared with me a message that he got from a lady in Eastern Africa who's traditional, and she talked to him regarding the westernized women of her country. I won't quote because if I paraphrase her sentences, then you don't have to worry about when I'm speaking her words versus when I'm speaking my own. Because even if I said open quote and then close quote at the end, many of you would be like, what is that? And frankly, I just don't have time to be misunderstood in what I'm talking about. So here's the deal. She said to him regarding the westernized women where she is, that although she's sure they're there, she's interacted with them and she doesn't like them, that she doesn't really concern herself with them. She has no reason to care what they think, and she has no reason she's aware of to be friends with them. She's a proud traditional woman of her people. And the reason that she's not worried about their bad influences on her kids is only because she doesn't have kids yet. She thinks the way they behave is sad, and her circle is composed of practicing Christians or practicing Muslims. And she picks these people based on whether they can help her get closer to God or not. She also has said that if she acted like a westernized woman in her country, her family would disown her. That's not all. J Lion Menelik also shared with me, and you all should thank him for sharing this, what a South African woman said about her ethnic group. Now, mind you, I've told you South Africa's gone as far as Johannesburg, maybe Cape Town. I don't know about Durban, but the more urban the areas are, the more it's gone. Just gone. He said that this South African lady told him that in her ethnic group, the woman acts too westernized. The husband sends her back to her family, and either his or her family is going to find him another wife. J Lion Menelik's friend is married to a woman from the continent, and she said to, and shout out to you too, sir, to you and J Lion Menelik both. And shout out to your wife for telling this truth. She said to him, please forgive us for not understanding the situation of kind black men in the United States that fear God. She explained that the men in the U.S. are disliked and shunned for reasons that are strange and even unheard of in her country or its community in the United States. And they've never experienced that. And that is so rare and it's so counterintuitive to them that when they hear about this in the U.S., it's hard for them to understand and to relate to. And she told J Lion Menelik that her own husband tried for years to explain it. But she understood it at the time she was sending this message, and she asked for his forgiveness. She explained that the good men, such good men, are respected a lot more where she comes from, and that after 4 years in the U.S., she can see how they're not respected in the States. And she feels bad and sad for Western men who are good to have to deal with this. More than one South African woman has told J Lion Menelik and his friend that, and this is South Africa again we're talking about, that the toxicity of the Wicked Witch of the West is odd to them. It's strange. They almost can't believe it's there. But one of the things that one of them said was that she cannot imagine, or she tries to imagine, how stressful things are for African American men because they have to face the racism outside and they can't go home to a happy home after all of that. This is the same thing that Eddie Griffin joked about on stage but was telling the truth about. Another one said, yes, most Western women have to die alone if they're going to act this way. There's not really any other outcome that could happen. Another one said to him that where she is, and this is South Africa too, that where she is, women discuss with men. So they're not oppressed and completely silenced, but they don't dictate to men. Gentlemen, I said yesterday that if you go smooth the Foff, you stand up for yourself, you find allies. You take the stance. You don't have to rely on the allies, but if you take the stance, you will find them. You will be pleasantly surprised. That's what I talked about yesterday. Gentlemen, go ahead and speak out like Attorney Sperling is saying. I'm not even saying to do this because of some sort of reconciliation with the Wicked Witch of the West. But do this, one, because you have allies amongst Western women that are not wicked witches, although they're silenced, and I think they need to go ahead and grab the courage to take on these other ladies. I realize that there's little incentive for them to do this because good women in the West can find someone and keep them. And they wind up living very private lives, which married people should do, so I understand some of that lack of incentive. But if they can see the results that they're suffering, like, not being approached anymore because of bad women, well, okay, then it's time for you to take these bad women and start ostracizing them. And if they fight, you fight. If they fight back, you fight again because you're already fighting back when you ostracize them. You see, if we find out who the allies are, we may very well outnumber the opposition, the dysfunctional elements so much that we could collectively isolate and ostracize them, and then none of us has to defect and go anywhere, except geographically. I do think we're going to have to leave the West in general. I still maintain that. But as far as the communities go, you can get Nijistan out the community. You could do that if we outnumber them enough. And I think we do. They're just loud, that's all. And there aren't enough of us trying to isolate them. There are too many of us saying, well, they're going to be this way because they're teenagers. And really, it's just dysfunctional child culture that we pass off as teenage culture in order to justify who is really dysfunctional and even too dysfunctional for kids. That's what the influence is. It's not from the majority. It's just that a majority of us have not said that this is unacceptable. We'll say it's wrong and dysfunctional, but we won't say that it's unacceptable. Even when we believe that no other community would accept this, despite the fact that their whole entire countries from which they come suffer from this as well, even if it's not a majority. Anyway, I just wanted to say this is more evidence that if you speak out and go smooth the Foff, it becomes a lighthouse for those who are like you. Because other people are sick and tired of the dysfunction too. I guess nobody wants to be the first to say, you know what, I'm not going anywhere if I don't have to. You get the F out or I'm going to squeeze this trigger. I think that's what's going on. As a matter of fact, I would darn near bet money on it. I say darn near because I'm not allowed to gamble for obvious reasons, but pretty sure that's what the case is. Thank you for listening. Black heart, black mind, blackout, black, heterosexual, non-select male power, just because they don't like it. and black patriarchy until extinction or Judgment Day.